Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I actually admire that you can actually be this fake. And like when the TV comes on, how you can just change. You're the scum of the earth.
You don't doubt me, I couldn't do it. The odds that I couldn't do it. Look at me now. Lebanon, headshot, dead. That's it.
There's guys out there that are doing this day in and day out. They live and breathe this stuff that they don't get the recognition or credit that they deserve.
Is the secret to fighting?
Not being a fucking pussy. Honestly, you can teach anybody how to fight. But like, if you're a fucking pussy, that's a really hard thing to teach someone not to be.
Gang, gang.
Gang, man, I love watching that, man. My mustache was a thing last year, bro.
Yeah, bro. It's time to bring the stash back, bro.
I will. For next interview, I'll bring it out.
I love it. I love it. Well, what's up, Nasty Man? You doing all right?
I'm doing good, you dirty butt nugget. How you doing?
Dude, between me and you and last night, we could have probably took on fucking any fighter on that card last night, to be fair.
Oh, we're definitely PFL ranked now.
PFL ranked for
Yeah.
sure, especially after their shit ass performances.
Man.
But yeah, man, we're here over the Octagon podcast, episode 58. This will be UFC Mexico recap. And we'll also cover a little bit of the PFL Bellator Super Fight Championship. We'll go over the recap for that. And then, yeah, man, then we'll go on later in the week this week and we'll talk more about this upcoming fight card. And hopefully we'll actually have a fight interview this coming week if we can get one scheduled and in the books. So, but yeah, man, overall, decent day of fighting yesterday, man. We had fights that started all the way from noon to 1 in the morning. And we started out with the PFL Super Fight Bellator, or the PFL Championships versus Bellator champs. And I think it was kind of one, we kind of all expected some of this to go down. I thought PFL would have kind of put up some sort of a fight, but
Shit.
I mean, all day of fighting, I'm all for it. But like, it was kind of embarrassing for PFL yesterday, man. Like, I don't know how much of you that you watched of it, but I watched I watched some of it because it was during the day. So obviously, I had my daughter and my wife. We were all hanging out and stuff. We had things we had to do, but I watched definitely most of the main card. And then we had some names. People make their appearances in the early fights, like Clarissa Shields making her debut in the PFL. Ali Walsh getting his first professional fight in the PFL in the super fight.
How did he do?
That win. He won by decision.
Really?
Yep. So, yeah, so that was just in the early stages. But once we got into the main card, I mean, we started out with McKee and Collard. And then from there on, it was kind of just Bellator throughout the whole entire event. I mean, McKee dominated. Then Yoel Romero got the unanimous decision. It's kind of cool to see guys when you see names like Thiago Santos and Yoel Romero fighting, because it's like they've been around for years. So it's always just a fan fight. That's a fan fight that couldn't have gone wrong either way.
It was great, man. I definitely watched that one.
So, and then after that, Nemkov gets the win for the Bellators, and then Jackson got the win for Bellator. And then the one where it got really interesting, where it was almost PFL's time to shine, was Impa versus Johnny Eblen, because Johnny Eblen came in, 15-0, or he's 14-0,
Yeah.
Super dominant champion in Bellator. A lot of people were saying that he could potentially even be the best, one of the top 3 best middleweights even in the world in all organizations. But dude, he came out, started out pretty solid in the first, and then Impa to start the second round just loaded on him, dude. Knocked him, almost had him finished, rattled him. Like, it was that he almost finished him in the second round, which was super shocking. But then, Eblen came back and pulled out the third round and ended up getting the win. But I mean, I'd say Impa's pretty good for at least almost getting him finished and putting on as good of a performance as he did.
They're both good fighters, man.
Oh, yeah.
They're both good fighters.
I'm curious to see now with this whole merger and stuff like that. Like, so now that that's the case, so is Johnny Eblen just the champion of everything?
I think so.
It's like that's how they're doing it. I really don't know. I would like to know. So if anybody's hearing this and knows the answer to that, let me know, because I know they're kind of still keeping things separate, but it's all under the same organization. But like, I'm curious to know, like, are they just like the Professional Fighting League Super Champ or whatever they fucking call that shit?
I think they're combined now. They gotta be.
So, well, that one, that had big implications. So, shout out to Johnny Eblin for getting the win. And then the main event,
Dude.
I think this one, I don't think the books really knew what they were doing. I mean, literally 3 days before the fight, Ferreira was a underdog. And I was texting a few people saying, like, hey, this guy's an underdog in this fight. If you're going to put your money down on somebody, bet this motherfucker. I was like, dude, he's massive and Bader's old, and he's not going to be able to get in there on him. And exactly what I said, you could have writ that down in a book, man. He came out 25-second knockout. Like, I'm sorry, but Bader had no chance to win that.
No, man. Bader is a small heavyweight.
He's super small heavyweight, dude. This guy was like trumped him when they stood next to each other, dude.
Dude, like by like 5 inches.
I know.
It looked like it should never have happened, man. Watching that shit, I was like, Jesus Christ. But dude, he's a beast, man. And if he fights Francis,
he will.
That's gonna be awesome. Dude, why was John Jones there?
He's always there, man. I don't know. Yeah, he was at the one where Francis was at a couple of months ago when he first got inducted. He was there.
What is he doing there?
I don't know. Like, now that you think about it, it's almost like, are they setting some weird shit up? Like,
bro, they gotta be. I mean, it makes so much sense. Like,
I mean, if I was Dana White and I saw John Jones at PFL events doing interviews and shit, and he's a UFC fighter under my organization, I would be fucking pissed off.
Yeah, I would. You would have to address it,
Yeah, so I don't know about that, but we definitely are going to see Ferreira versus Ngannou, and I mean, shout out to him too, because Ngannou has that thing kind of implicated too for his fights that it's a guaranteed $2 million.
Oof.
Fight, so he's going to get a $2 million fight now against Francis Ngannou. So any opponent Francis fights gets $2 million, which is huge for a guy who's fighting in the PFL.
Holy shit, good for him. Good for him and his family.
Yeah, so that's huge. Wow. And then imagine he beats Francis. I mean, then you're putting him on a platform above a lot of people, man. So we'll see.
I want to see Francis fighting MMA.
I definitely want to see Francis fight
badly.
I mean, was I ever I wasn't really like the biggest Francis fan, but he definitely in his career started out okay and it ended on like a dominant, he was the most feared man in the world.
He was scary at one point, man. He took down what's his name, the best heavyweight of all time. Like, I'm drawing a blank. Stipe. Yeah, Stipe. Yep. He's the one that dethroned him, right? Yep. Yeah. Correct. So that is a fight that's going to be huge. And they'll do that one sometime towards the end of the year, I think, or middle of the year. I'm not really sure when that'll be, but it's going to be coming. So be prepared for that. Now, I will say this, man. I mean, you get all this Saudi money and stuff like that, and the production that the PFL runs is fucking amateur, dude. It's dog shit. It reminds me of dude. It reminds me of NFC and shit like that over here. Oh, it's bad. It's like you're showing this shit to like a 500 room platform, dude. It's crazy. Like, there was a time, Nasty, I shit you not, dude. When I was watching this fight, I thought my headset was fucked up because you know how you ever have the audio where it's like one side, you're only hearing audio out of one side and it's not on the other. I thought I was losing my mind, dude. I was like, why can I only hear this shit on my right side? And I was like, I went to another website, then I heard everything perfect. And then I'd come back, same thing on the PFL, and then it would go to normal sound. I'm like, dude, what are they doing there? You got all this money and you can't put on a performance for shit. And then the gaps they have between fights, dude. Oh my God. You can fall asleep, bro. If that was brutal. The UFC, dude, we would be fucking dead. Oh my, I almost did die last night during it. It was awesome. We would be dead if we had to wait fucking 25 minutes in between each fight to watch the fights, dude. Fuck that. So, but yeah, man, I mean, it's a cool concept. I do like it. It's good for the people. It's good for true fight fans. Like, you don't have to, like, I get it. The majority of people out in the world make up for just UFC fans. Like, not a lot of people say like, oh, I'm going to watch Bellator
I'm going to watch PFL. Like you got to be truly into martial arts to really give a shit to want to watch different organizations and stuff. But I like what they're doing. I mean, now that we have an established big three, you got ONE FC, you got this new PFL Bellator, and you have the UFC, which is kind of like the three big organizations that you watch. And yeah, I mean, I like it. And I'm curious to see how it's going to go now with these big champions and stuff in their divisions.
And I mean, dude, the whole merging thing, and there's a lot of people who are ex-UFC champions.
Yep.
Fighting it for Bellator. Now they're in PFL. I was like, dude, I wonder how updated the roster is online. And I started looking at it. I mean, they still have like Anthony Pettis, who's doing this, and he's doing that karate. Speaking of that karate.
Yeah, Karate Combat was fucking awesome, wasn't it?
Dude, whose trainer is that? The guy with the flying, the flying armbar or flying triangle?
I don't know who, but you said it last night. I thought.
I forget who it was, man.
I don't know who you said it was. I don't remember. I think you said it was. Oh fuck! Who did you say, dude?
I think it was Sean Strickland or something. I'm not
sure.
No,
it's not Sean Strickland.
Oh, Volk. I think it's Volk.
Volk. Yeah, that's who you said.
It's his jiu-jitsu guy.
But I mean, he's the number 2 ranked jiu-jitsu in the fighter in the world. So I mean, it was fun though. That was a pretty good performance. So shout out to you, Karate Combat, for actually putting on some good underground like fight shit that a lot of people appreciate. And it's pretty popular. It's more popular than I think people think it is or know it is, because I mean they had people like, you know, Pajeda and a couple of different big names there. It was obviously Dean Thomas was commentating, and you know, there's big celebrities there and shit all the time.
Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then I think it's on UFC Fight Pass, if I'm not mistaken. So it does have a little boost too for being on UFC Fight Pass. So I think it's kind of like a sport sponsored event or something like that. But I don't really know much about it. That was honestly the first time I've watched it, because I didn't really know how to watch it, because I don't have I have Fight Pass, but I don't ever really dive into much of anything else besides like some of the other local promotions. But yeah, no, that was fun. Karate Combat was definitely fun. I would love to go to one of those and fucking watch that pit fight, like fighting in the pit. That's pretty sick.
Kind of want to compete in one. That seems fun as fuck, dude. I'm looking at PFL's roster, dude. They have Jake Shields fighting.
Yeah,
Jake Shields is still doing it. Fabricio Werdum is still doing it, dude. They have some studs in there. I would love to see them fight again. I mean,
studs or
Jake Shields is probably top 20 best fighters of all time. Maybe I'd say like number 19. He was a monster back in the day, dude.
I mean, yeah, he was fire back in the day.
He was that guy. Jake Shields, so underrated, not talked about enough.
How long has the PFL been around? 2018?
Shit, I guess so.
So it's been around since 2018. And their first year of champions, dude, were like literally nobodies.
Yeah, they were hard to watch. That's why we stopped watching them.
Yeah, bro. And then they got people like Kayla Harrison in there who kind of helped out a little bit. Damn, man, you go back and look at their rosters. It's kind of crazy because Kayla Harrison before the Pachenko was a monster.
Oh, yeah. They're making big moves, man. They've been nonstop with these big moves, so we're gonna see something.
I mean, they'll end up getting more and more. I think they'll end up getting more and more. I mean, it's gonna all depend on what type of person you are, but like if they have the kind of money they have to just throw around to fighters, it's gonna be hard to not convince a 20-year-old kid to take $1 million PFL contract or a 2020 UFC contract, like a 20K UFC contract.
And that's what we want, man. And then like I think that's what they're going for. And then also like in the future, man, you're gonna have like what if they do a UFC champs versus PFL champs when it's actually competitive? Which is their goal.
See about that. I don't know if they ever will, but I think the true fighters, like the ones who want to be like the best of all times, will always go to the UFC no matter what. Because it's like there's no comparison into saying you're the the ultimate fighting champion of the world. Like, that's just nobody ever is going to not want that. So I'd rather be the UFC champ than the fucking PFL Bellator combined super champ, whatever, 10 out of 10 times. So,
yeah, for sure.